to give awards to President. But you know what? I was just thinking when Joe was talking about Ribbling River, my first public works project in this valley was to get that lane. Maybe we don't call it a bike lane, but it was a wheelchair lane. Because they wanted something from the running iron bar to get the Rippling River without having to go around. And we had a young kid who had a motorcycle accident, and he was at Rippling River, and he was ticketed on the road by the highway patrol for having a wheelchair on the road. I said he was ticketed because he exceeded the speed limit. And he came to me and then insisted that he needed to get some freedom and get out of there. So in those days, so easy to get things done. I just went through the public works department. I didn't know that we never heard of EIRs or plans or public hearings. And I just told Mo Ward, who was the deputy director of the public works department, build that trail. Just go next time the guys are out there putting some pavement down, just put it out there. That thing was done in a week. And it's been there ever since. And one of the arguments we had when they were going to shut that down is, well, you can't move that trail. That trail's for elderly people and wheelchairs, and so thanks for keeping it going. But Joe, you know what the best thing about those of us who in Congress talk about our childhood and what really got us into sort of on the right path? Scout. My dad was an Eagle Scout. I never made that far. I should have been in your troop. Troop 76 in Carmel, so we'll scout out. But I'm so proud of these awards for you because my daughter's just moved to the valley. She bought the Williams house right across from, her dad bought the house. She's living in it. Thank God for equity loans. Right across from Laurel's Lodge. So if any of you want to do horseback riding or want to get kids to be taught, she's in the business. But I'm so glad that she's moved into this valley because it has the leadership of the people in this room. What a great community to raise your kids and my grandchildren. I thank you for the bottom of my heart. These awards that are given in Washington don't even come close to what you've all done to make this such a livable community. Think about it. This is an unincorporated area. You don't have the tax base that cities have, the formulas that give cities more money. You have all the people are living here. Remember we fought the cement sidewalks that we're going to build all over the village? You said, well, you maybe build a few out of boards, but you're not going to put sidewalks all over. A lot of people try to, the pressure is to urbanize this valley. I remember we started a master plan rewrite. Karen Strasser-Coffin was able to carry it over the gold line. It hasn't been changed since. Remember, you got it adopted, and that was, what, 30 years ago? So, Joe, I mean, Paul, there's a Joe Ingram. No relation. No relation. But I'm proud to present you with this certificate of special congressional recognition. And it really is for outstanding and invaluable service to our community. Thank you very much for your leadership, Mr. President.
Thank you, Congressman. Anthony, thank you for the wonderful introduction. And to my colleague, Joe Hertline, Linda and I would trust the safety of our 15-year-old son in the middle of New Mexico on a high-intensity wilderness adventure, and he was squarely in Joe's hands. So that's my history with Joe. And I can't think of another more qualified and well-deserving good ink recipient than Joe at this time. As Anthony said, technically, I grew up outside of Carmel Valley. I lived on Meadows Road, went to Nipro School for 8 years. Really didn't have a sense of what the Upper Valley was like when I was a kid, except for 4-H and Little League that brought me out here. And after I had, during that time in the 50s and 60s, there was a little girl living on Paso Hondo and a littler kid. Also, his name was Anthony, and they played together back then. And And this little girl would go with her mother up to the washing well and sit there while her mother did her work. And when a library moved into one of the storefronts, she would go down there and spend her day there. And now, full circle, that she's now an assistant librarian in our library here, which is very special. What I discovered when I moved away from the Monterey Peninsula and had my dad talk me into coming back to work in the building trades, to work in the plastering industry, and which was a good call because she was still here. We didn't know each other through high school, but she was still here and we were introduced, and the rest is history. But what we discovered when we were raising our little kids, we lived in Linda's mother's house on Paso Hondo, and when you're raising little kids out here, it's magic. I can't emphasize more what kind of an experience it is out here. And it's magic because of the volunteers that work so hard to keep the traditions going. And if anything, even in these tough years in the economy and people are stressed and working so hard, and to find the energy and time to devote yourself to trying to make something happen, that you used to experience when you were a young parent. And there's good news on that front because as being part of the initial needs study for the library that myself and Cynthia Herdline participated in, Carolyn Stone, there was new data coming in from Tularcitos School, and the fact is that the population of Tularcitos is going up, and it's not because River School is so overcrowded. Families are making the decision to move to Upper Carmel Valley to raise their families. And I got to thinking as I'm preparing for the Spanish fly-in, that these families are creating their own traditions, and they're experiencing the magic for the first time. And that's what motivates me to continue to work to make things happen every year. And I could talk for hours about the people surrounding this who work harder than I do to get certain things done. And it shows off. An example this year was our volunteer firefighters who, I'm sorry to say, are not volunteer firefighters anymore, but they still showed up at the airfield to secure the landing site and make it a safe Santa's fly-in. That's an example of the dedication we have out here. And I think I'll finish by dedicating this to the memory of somebody we lost recently, Tom Coppinger. And if you were at All Saints Church a couple Saturdays ago and saw over 500 people there to remember him, that'll give you an example of the impact he had on this community. And my last memory of him is when I'm up in the announcing stand at the Santa's Fly-In, and I see the parade finally start to leave. That's when I can take a breath. The helicopter landed safely and took off again. No dogs ran out to meet it. No horses reared up. And I can finally take a breath. And my last memory of Tom is he's driving by in his antique truck as the parade's leaving the airfield, and he's waving to me. So that's a good memory to leave with. I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank my fellow Park District board members here, the people that I've worked with, everybody that I've ever worked with at the community center. And I really want to emphasize that over the years, in good times and bad, the people there were always very, very dedicated. And so I honor their service no matter what happens. So thank you all tonight, and keep working hard for Carmel Valley. Thank you.